Now, a bit of an awkward question here, but can you be taught to be funny? A new online comedy course taught by the big gun himself, Sir Billy Connolly, promises to do just that. It's pre-recorded lessons and they include how to write and deliver the best punchlines. So, can you be taught, Nadia, to be funny?
Well...
No pressure.
I think you've got funny bones or you haven't. I think that... When you think about Judy... It's like, yes, she's great when she stands up, you know, and does her stand-up, but she's just funny, isn't she? She's
When she comes to the meetings, we
just laugh the whole day. She's just got funny bones, like Lee, our warm-up guy. The same, just funny, everything they say. And I don't think you can be taught that, but maybe there is a technique to learn how to deliver a joke.
Yeah.
But... maybe that's why I'm not a great fan of jokes, because I prefer just natural...
We've all met a lot of comedians who are not
very
funny. Yeah. You know, that when they walk in a room, you know, they're actually quite serious and, you know, they treat it as a kind of art form. So, I mean, Judy's unusual to a certain extent, isn't she? Because she's just like...
Yeah, she's actually funny in person, isn't she?
Yeah.
I feel like poor Josh is going to come on now and we're going to be like...
Hers isn't jokes, is it? She doesn't really tell jokes.
She literally walks into a room, I think, and she just
tells us what she's been up to and then we just all start laughing.
You're funny, though.
I never think of myself as funny. Like, I've obviously done lots of comedies over the years.
I was going to say, how many awards for Birds of the Feather?
Not that many.
Oh, sorry. One, I think.
That's awkward.
OK, but there's multiple series.
No, but I remember...
That was quite funny.
I remember the first comedy series I did was a comedy series called Agony with Maureen Lipman. At the end of it, the director said to me, "You've got really good comic timing."
You have.
And that was the first time I realised I had... But I don't actually think I'm a funny person. But I did get asked to do this cruise, right? They said, would you come on and do a 45-minute Q&A? So I thought, oh, a nice excuse, bring me sisters with me, we'll have a nice little cruise, the three of us. Anyway, my sister Debbie couldn't come because she's an anti-vaxxer. And then Tina came...
Drop that one in.
Tina came with me and we had a really good time and I didn't know what I was going to talk about this 45 minutes. Anyway, when I went on, they had some pictures and clips of things that I'd done over the years and then I told this story about when I got mugged for a bag of dog's poo. So I had a dog at the time, George, and I was laying in bed with the kids and I could smell this smell coming from downstairs. So I ran downstairs, there was dog poo everywhere, diarrhoea, the dog. So I had a Selfridges bag where I've been Selfridges that day. So I cleaned it all up, put it in the Selfridges bag, went to walk out the door, looked over the road, there was a skip there, so I thought, oh, you're not allowed to put stuff in people's skips, are you? So I'm looking around, make sure no one's there. Got to run across the road, someone punched me in the face and nicked the Selfridges bag. Yeah. So when they got back, they had a bag full of dog's poo. But this woman was laughing so much, she had to get taken down to the hospital.
In the cruise
ship. I know, but she was all right at the end of the day, but she said where she was laughing so much, she nearly had a panic attack.
Oh, my God.
Apparently I was very funny that day.
Were you just sitting there passing all the boxes for what she's going to get told off for? For what she said.
I nearly said the S word, but I never said the poo word.
Yeah, no, but what I was thinking there is I'm looking at Sir Billy Connolly, who I absolutely adore, his masterclasses, and he goes through becoming a comedian, facing the fear, making yourself vulnerable, you know, goes through all the things. But I don't think anyone could teach you to be you. You know, you know, it's because you're so unself-conscious about it and you just tell these stories naturally. That's what makes you funny. I think
as well, being self-deprecating is very funny.
Yeah.
And a lot of comedians I've met, not all,
Josh is just coming on.
No, but they're not as good at taking it as they are giving it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, like, sometimes I think on comedy shows and stuff like these panel shows, everyone seems very... It's like almost comedians won't laugh at each other.
All right, OK,
and so for me, somebody that's funny is somebody that shares their laughter back and forth.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're just being sat down to... and you've got to find this funny and there's no two-way street, I find that a bit odd.
Yeah, it's not very human, is it?
Teach that, maybe.
Well, listen, we've got our very own teacher here, talking of comedy, comedian and dad, Josh Widdicombe, teamed up with his friend Rob Beckett in lockdown to create the Parenting Hell podcast. Well, 2 years on and tens of millions of downloads later, the podcast is a huge success and is now evolved into a book, and he is here to tell us more. Please welcome Josh Widdicombe.
I
was literally stood there going, this couldn't be worse.
you are very funny, so you know.
But
thank you,
we know
yeah.
you're funny. If we were unsure whether you were funny, we wouldn't have had that
Yeah,
conversation.
well, I'm not as funny as Judy. You were very clear about that, weren't you?
Nobody's as funny as Judy.
Nobody's as funny as Judy.
Judy.
She's got funny eyes. No. She's got, like, such funny eyes.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
very expressionate.
Yeah, they're incredible.
Yeah.
But do you feel that pressure then to be funny because you're comedian Josh Widdicombe?
On this...
Or anywhere?
On TV, yeah, I feel the pressure.
Yeah.
In person, no one wants me being a comedian all the time, right?
I don't know, I feel like people expect
No,
it,
I think
though,
it's the
don't
complete
they?
opposite. I always get really disappointed when comedians aren't funny in real
Yeah,
life.
I know. Well, yeah, no. Now I remember our date. But no. Yeah, no. You're funny day to day. There's nothing worse than when you meet a comedian and they're not a funny person.
Yeah.
Right? The best comedians are people that are naturally funny.
Yeah. Which you are. You've got funny bones. It's that thing, isn't it?
I know, I've
Just
got
that
funny eyes.
Je ne sais quoi.
So do you think you can teach people to be funny?
You can teach them to be a comedian. You can teach them to get better at being a comedian.
Yeah.
So it's a craft that you learn, like stand-up and all that kind of stuff. There's skills to it. Like, no one's a good stand-up when they start, but you can't teach people to be a naturally funny person.
No.
It's like a footballer could train to get better, but I could never have been a footballer how hard I trained.
Yeah.
Really? I find that surprising.
So you're funny?
She knows about football.
That was just sarcasm.
Yeah, I know,
That's all
sorry,
it
I'm
was.
not
That's
funny, I'm
all
just
it was, yeah.
sarcastic. I was actually saying earlier that there was something missing from this book.
Yeah.
Because when I got sent your book, it had a condom in it.
Ooh.
That was to
that
everyone.
Yeah, that was for everyone. That was for everyone. We were talking about contraception earlier, and I opened it and left it on the side of my kitchen.
Yeah.
Then my youngest son found it and was like, "Mummy, what's this?" And I was like, you know, but it's one of those really serious parenting moments. And I was like, "You are in big trouble."
I am very sorry about that.
It's like, I can't remember what I said. I think I said, "Oh, it's like a rubber band," and then that was it. And we moved on.
A balloon.
Yeah.
You should have said a balloon.
Yeah. So thanks for that.
No, I do apologise. So just to be clear on that.
You're really enjoying this woman today, aren't you?
I'll be honest with you, it's been a real
How comfortable
start.
are you, Josh?
I've never been less comfortable in my life. I'll be honest. I'm not feeling funny, I'll tell you that for free. It came with... they were like, you give away a gift when you send it to people, and we said it would be funny if you put
candles.
You know, so we put me and Rob's face on condoms.
Oh, I love
or just
that.
on the packet.
That's
just to be clear.
authentic, isn't it?
Well, actually, I haven't checked.
In the moment, you pick it out and then do too.
Yeah.
That moment's died.
I know.
Anyway, why don't you tell us about your podcast?
The book. Yeah, I forgot I was here for that.
Yeah.
So the book is me and Rob did the podcast Parenting How during lockdown, which you've been on.
Yeah. Which
Get
was
yourself a free
wildly
condom.
popular.
I know, yeah, thank you so much.
Which became such a success, we wanted to do a book of it, but we wanted to do a book that was kind of separate from the podcast, and a book about our experience of parenting. Rob's got 2 kids, I've got 2 kids, and what people liked about the podcast was it was really honest, and it was really kind of honest about our failings. So that is a book of failings.
Right. But
That's
not
the best
with
way to get advice, isn't it?
Exactly.
Really?
Yeah. It's not a book that says this is how to parent. It's a book that says this is what we did, and our children are all right so far.
Yeah.
So it could always be worse. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it actually has on 100% no advice guarantee.
Yeah, no advice.
So it does what it says on the tin.
Yeah.
So what is the book supposed to do, but what are you trying to say to people with this book? Because it comes from a very male perspective, doesn't it?
It does. I suppose what we're saying is... I think what came out of the podcast, because we only did it as a kind of hobby in lockdown that got out of control, and so we didn't, like, set out with an idea of we want to do this. But I think what's come out of it is... What comes across is through all of our failings and trying to do stuff and it going wrong, is that the main thing is we really care about it. And we really want to be good parents, and that's all you can do. Like, and you're going to mess up and it's going to go wrong and it's going to be difficult and you're going to have meltdowns and all that kind of stuff. Your child and you are going to have meltdowns. And so the only thing you can do is try your hardest, really.
Yeah.
And there's a bit of a stereotype as well, isn't there, around men, that they're not normally interested, they're not normally bothered, and you guys are kind of saying, well, that's not actually true.
Yeah, exactly, because we wouldn't have kind of done this if we didn't care about it a lot. Do you know what I mean? And it's not about us going, oh, it's really awful parenting, isn't it? It's about us going, we're trying, but, God, we keep getting it wrong.
Yeah. Well, we had a husband like that, so I'd just love to go to bed one night with that line there, just talking about how we did everything wrong today with our kids.
Yeah.
But I do think that is, like, that's the journey, isn't it? It's like, if you're questioning everything, then surely you're doing a kind of good job.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yes,
self-doubt's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
So,
I'm telling myself. I was certainly having some self-doubt stood over there waiting to come on, I'll tell you that.
so biggest failure that you can share with people then, just to make them feel better?
First time I took my first baby out for a walk on my own, I locked myself out of the house. And it was like a winter's day, and so we were just stuck outside the house, and my wife was out, and then I bumped into someone who I knew, and he was like, I'll come back to mine, because he had a small kid. And I went back to his, and his kid had flu and gave our kid flu.
Oh, no. Your wife fuming.
That is a big
I did
fail.
tell her. No, I did. No.
We're going to have to cut this off very quickly, but would you have a vasectomy for Christmas?
What? Can we go back to whether people are naturally funny?
Maybe you can give you one.
Whoa! You've misjudged me, I'll tell you that.
We're going to have to get
That is a compliment.
Josh, it's 5 seconds. It's got to be a yes or no.
Yes, I would. It's a cheap present.
So romantic.
Josh, thanks very much. Josh Widdicombe, everyone.